Yo, this is Gyromancer here, and welcome to another Gaming Rant. Today we are going to be discussing whether or not video games are bad for us. Today's rant is going to be a bit different. Hopefully if you play video games you can get behind these points and enjoy the wonder of video games even more. But I also hope to inform people who don't really play video games, such as parents with kids, who wonder what effects video games have on society and kids. No matter where you are in the spectrum, you'll have your own preconceived notions coming into this video, and there's nothing I can do about that but ask you all to try and keep an open mind here. So with that said, let's dive right in and start with the form of media pretty much all of us are aware of and enjoy. Movies. Movies are another form of media that are consumed on a screen just like video games, yet movies are generally accepted as a good, enjoyable experience that has no negative side effects unless you fill too much of your time with them or watch a movie targeted toward an older age group. When we watch movies, we sit down, stare at a screen, and process the production. Let's compare this experience to video games. Sit down, mostly check. Stare at a screen, check. Process the production, check. Yet there is one more additional part of video games that pretty much all movies don't include. The fact that video games are an interactive experience. You have to actively be a part of the experience using your brain to process and respond accordingly using logic and motor skills. When you lay it out like this, it seems kind of obvious that if movies where you sit there and stare at a screen are accepted as non-harmful, then video games in which you stare at a screen but are actually required to use your brain to participate and interact aren't harmful either. There's no magical voodoo that makes people's brains rot when they play video games. It's just the same as movies, and in some ways, better for you. Now you might say, well, what about violent video games? Don't those teach kids to be violent? Unfortunately, this is where video games get a lot of flack, especially first-person shooter games, because society does what it does and looks for a scapegoat for the horrible things that happen in the world. People say if you play video games where you are taught to shoot people, then those tendencies will carry over into real life and you go and shoot up a school or a movie theater. Which, if that was true, America would be in a heap of trouble because a large amount of the population would be mass murderers. All jokes aside, if you worry about this, I suggest you go check out a video by Rel on violence in video games, where he lays out tons of evidence and studies in a very well done fashion. There will be a link in the description below. I encourage you to go check it out. The gist of it is that violent video games are actually a symptom of people who are violent and not a cause. Also, violent video games are actually a help to society, especially when dealing with young adult males. Violent video games are a highly effective means of letting off steam and provide an outlet for people to harmlessly use up their anger. So, if video games aren't rotting our brains, or making us violent, do they have any actual value, or are they just neutral? Movies can have great lessons, wisdom, and life experience in them. Do video games offer any such thing? For those of you who aren't really into the video game world, you've probably only heard about big titles out there like Call of Duty. But it turns out that the video game industry nowadays is humongous. We recently entered the indie stage of video games, where pretty much anybody with the dedication can make a video game using all sorts of tools such as the Unreal Engine, Unity, or Source. Developers from all sorts of walks in life are flooding into the game world to create games that share their own stories and life experience with the world. There are games like Machineers that teach logic used in computer programming, The Binding of Isaac, which tells the story of the developer's own struggle with coming to grips with the fact that people aren't perfect, and that we all have some evil inside of us. Dear Esther and games from Telltale Games are games completely focused around telling a story and experiencing a different life through someone else's eyes. Bastion and Transistor from Supergiant Games are a masterful combination of aesthetics, music, and story that really pull your emotions as you interact with people in a world not unlike our own. There are also larger game companies that tell stories as well. The Borderlands and Bioshock series are massive games with complex plotlines and tons of unique characters, and Bioshock also includes philosophy such as objectivism, exceptionalism, and free will. These games require huge teams of story writers and voice actors to put it all together. Both Portal games and the Talos Principle are mind-bending puzzle games that deal with humanity, uncertainty, and ask the question, what does it mean to be human? The Mass Effect series is a sci-fi adventure where you play the role of a commander of a spaceship. The game focuses on choice as you make game-changing decisions on who to invite to your crew and who to leave behind, who to kill and who to spare, and how to deal with complicated relationships between your crew members. Games also teach us things other than life experience and philosophy. World of Warcraft has a complicated live market based on player supply and demand. Games like Supreme Commander and Civilization place you in the role of a commander of a whole entire army and civilization. Strategy is required to carefully plan your next moves. There are also chess-like, turn-based games like Archon. Also, despite the popular notion that people who play video games have no social lives, video games are a very social activity. Because of the internet, we are able to communicate with people on a whole other continent. Video games are a way to bond with other people through entertainment, similar to hanging out and watching a sports game. RPGs and MMOs such as Guild Wars are highly social games in which players can band together with others to go on an epic quest. Super Smash Bros. Brawl and games referred to as bro games such as FIFA or Madden are great games to play together in a physical room at parties or other social gatherings. PlanetSide 2 places people in squads, which teaches people teamwork as they work together as a unit to be effective against other thinking and strategizing groups of players. Video games also have great communities that exist outside of games and on the internet. Video games serve as a common interest between people in all different walks of life to get together and share their own experiences and ideas. Video games also open up industries for media, sports, and other jobs with places like YouTube and Twitch. But that's a topic for another video. So are video games that bad for us? No, unless you play a game intended for a more mature audience or you play too much, which as gamers and the parents of children who play video games is our own responsibility, just like any other form of entertainment. Video games are a way to express ourselves as human beings, connect with one another, learn things, and have a good time. We are in a great time to play video games with indie developers and growing technology such as virtual reality. Am I forcing you to play video games? No. But I do encourage you to try something new, as the video game market is huge now, and you'll most likely be able to find something to your liking. Even if you don't end up playing many video games, I hope that this video has helped you to come to a greater understanding of what video games are, and next time you won't judge someone for playing a video game. Ultimately, it's beauty in the eye of the beholder, so you can sit on your couch and watch a sports match while I command my army to victory. There are a bunch of great videos linked in the description below that cover topics and games mentioned in this video, so I suggest you go check them out and discover more about the great world of video games. Usually I'd ask you to subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos, but since this video is about a medium that we can all share and discuss, I suggest you go dive into the world of video games, whether in actual video games, other videos, forums, or any other way you like. If you have any more questions about video games or you simply want to discuss this video, then you can leave a comment in the comment section below. Thanks all for watching. Later.